And I was so excited, Steve, I was so excited because Kenora had been described to me there in 1966 as a frontier town. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to begin a great adventure, and that great adventure is going to begin from a frontier town. So when I got to Kenora, I was directed to the float plane docks there in Kenora. I was told which Norseman was headed out to Delaney Lake, which is where we were going to work at Delaney Lake Lodge. It was being loaded with drums of gasoline. I helped finish the loading. I got in the plane, and with so much enthusiasm, so much excitement, so much anticipation, we took off, and I'm headed on this great adventure. But you know what happened? Almost right away, I began to get airsick. I had only flown once before. I'd never flown in a small plane like this before, and I began to get airsick. And I just was so determined to not arrive for my first day at work at this wilderness fishing camp as the kid who got airsick. I just couldn't let that happen. So I was fighting it, I was sweaty, I was nauseated. What was making it even worse were the fumes from the gasoline. And then what made it worse still was that there was one other passenger on the Norseman. I don't remember his name. He was a fellow about 30 years old, an Anglo from Kenora, and he discovered I was from the United States. And again, this was 1966. The Vietnam War was raging. The Vietnam War was very, very nasty. Of course, Canada was against it, and when this Canadian young adult, this 30-year-old man, I'm 15 years old, discovered I was from America, he decided that he was going to let me know what a terrible place America was, how we were criminal to send our boys over to Vietnam to kill brown people. And he just put all of his anger into his attack of me, and I just couldn't take it anymore, and I finally got sick, and I thought, oh my gosh, I am now going to be the kid that's going to arrive at this fishing camp as the fella who winds up, comes to the dock for the first time with vomit on his chest. Well, we arrived at the camp, the door was open, and Steve, there you were. And when I saw you standing there on the dock, I immediately knew everything was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And the way you treated me and the way you comforted me, it was almost as if I thought at the time you had been expecting me, as if you were there to welcome me. I cleaned up the plane, but you're the one who showed me where the supplies were, and you sort of hid this whole mistake from everybody else as I had the opportunity to clean it up. And Steve, I was immediately indebted to you. I immediately saw you as a brother, and I believe that moment where you were there had so much to do with the relationship that developed between us.
Well, Carl, actually, we were kind of anticipated to meet you. I was informed that you were coming. A young man coming up north for the first time, not exposed to a different environment, with Indians. And once you might arrive, you might, have second thoughts of why you're here. We were sort of told, we have to make you feel at home, and I was kind of told that I should, since you were, we're almost the same age, we kind of encountered, right there. And so, for myself too, I always wanted a non-native friend, and I longed for one. We have been segregated, all this time. All we've met with was the adult, Americans, and hardly anyone, with our age.
Right.
And I think that's what really, came up.
Well, that was a wonderful first summer there at Delaney. It was a wonderful first summer. You were the person, I spent that first summer not as a fishing guide, of course, but as a camp laborer learning how to be a fishing guide, and it was you that had a lot to do with teaching me both how to successfully work around the camp, the jobs that needed to be done and how they were done. I learned from you. But then you also took me out on the water so very, very often and began to help me, introduce me to the water, and began to help me prepare myself to be a fishing guide as well.